London, 6:52 a.m., an ordinary Tuesday. The city wakes up, coffee brews, commuters rush to the underground. But across the city, thousands of people are about to get a rude awakening. Anna, a nurse coming off midnight shift, slips her bank card into an ATM to check her balance. Instead of her usual sum, she's greeted by a number no one wants to see, 0 zeros. In the span of a single night, her entire salary vanished. She's not alone. By noon, call centers across 3 continents are swamped. Madrid, Berlin, New York, everywhere, desperate voices are asking the same question. Where is my money? But there's no smashed glass, no masked robbers, no midnight getaway cars. Just hundreds of ordinary ATMs sitting quietly on street corners, looking untouched. The only evidence, a tiny, almost invisible piece of plastic or metal attached to the card slot. Authorities don't know it yet, but last night they witnessed one of the most sophisticated, widespread attacks in the history of global banking. It's not a movie plot. It really happened, and it's still happening today. This is the story of how a handful of organized criminals, starting with a few prototype gadgets in the back alleys of Eastern Europe, found a way to rob the world's banks without ever setting foot inside them. The age of the card skimmer has begun, and no one is safe. To the untrained eye, an ATM skimmer looks like a harmless extension of the machine, maybe a thicker card slot, a green plastic rim, or a small brochure tray hanging below the keypad. But what it really is, a predator lying in wait. The genius of the skimmer scam was its simplicity and invisibility. Each device was custom installed to match the specific model of ATM, right down to the color, size, and even fake branding stickers. Installation could take less than a minute. One member of the crew, dressed in street clothes or even a business suit, would approach the ATM during a lull, usually early morning or late at night. With a quick sleight of hand, he'd attach the skimmer over the card slot and, if needed, place a tiny pinhole camera or a false front over the keypad. He'd blend into the crowd, gone before anyone noticed. Now, the real magic began. For every card inserted during the day, the skimmer's tiny memory chip captured the data encoded on the magnetic strip. Meanwhile, the hidden camera, often disguised as a leaflet holder or embedded in a dummy panel above the keypad, recorded victims as they entered their PINs. Sometimes, a fake keypad overlay was used instead, pressing the actual keys but storing every number. After a few hours, or an entire weekend, the team would quietly return, retrieve the skimmer and camera, and vanish into the city. With the raw data in hand, the next phase started, card cloning. In hotel rooms or rented apartments, skilled techs would load the stolen card data onto blank magnetic stripes, the kind found on cheap hotel keys or gift cards. Dozens could be written in minutes with gadgets no bigger than a credit card terminal. The cashers, street-level foot soldiers, often flown in just for the job, carrying dozens of cloned cards each. Acting fast, they would hit hundreds of ATMs in a matter of hours, withdrawing the maximum daily limit from each cloned account. Sometimes, a well-organized operation could drain millions in a single city overnight before the banks or police ever noticed a thing. What made skimming so dangerous was its scale. From a handful of plastic and wires, an entire city's worth of ATM users could lose everything. Because the original cards were never physically stolen, many victims wouldn't even realize they'd been targeted until days or weeks later, when their accounts were empty and the trail already cold. By 2011, the card skimming epidemic had gone viral on a scale never seen before. Nearly every major city in the world, New York, Rio, Berlin, Tokyo, saw their ATMs quietly hijacked. Sometimes, an entire street or even dozens of machines in a single financial district were compromised overnight. One morning in Sydney, over 500 people woke up to discover their accounts emptied. 2 weeks later, it was Barcelona, then Warsaw, then São Paulo. In a matter of months, the crime went from back alley theft to an international heist measured in tens of millions of dollars. For a long time, law enforcement was powerless. The criminals were careful. Skimmer teams moved fast, installing and removing devices before a patrol cruiser could ever circle the block. Devices were disposable, cheap, and almost impossible to trace. Even when police did find a skimmer, It was usually abandoned, wiped of fingerprints, and useless as evidence. Meanwhile, cashers vanished before dawn, their faces hidden by hats and scarves, their flights back to Eastern Europe already booked. The game changed when the victims multiplied. Banks, forced to reimburse millions in stolen money, finally started to fight back. ATM manufacturers rushed to invent anti-skimming devices, jamming circuits, green glowing slots, and extra sensors. Police agencies formed specialized cybercrime units. International task forces were created nearly overnight. Europol and Interpol coordinating with local police in joint raids across continents. Digital forensics breakthrough. Detective in London spots a pattern. Surveillance helps catch criminals in the act.
The first major busts hit the news in 2012. Raids in New York, big seizures in Madrid, withdrawal trails across multiple countries.
Still, the battle was far from over. For every gang arrested, another emerged. Newer, smarter, and even harder to catch. For ordinary people, the lesson lingered. The next time you use an ATM, you may be unknowingly participating in the world's quietest crime wave. In the years that followed, billions of dollars were lost and the world's banks were forced to evolve almost overnight. Magstripe technology, once considered secure, was suddenly obsolete. A new era of smart cards with microchips, EMV, began rolling out worldwide, promising stronger protection and supposedly eliminating skimming for good. Banks blanketed their branches with warning posters. Media outlets ran segments on how to spot a fake card slot, but the scars remained. In some countries, trust in ATMs plummeted. Some people swapped cash for mobile payments. Others, shaken by sleepless nights and closed accounts, simply stopped using cards altogether. Some people swapped cash for mobile payments. Others, shaken by sleepless nights and closed accounts, simply stopped using cards altogether.
The hunt for skimming crews never fully ended. International operations continued, and every year, law enforcement reported new arrests. Some masterminds, like Razvan Kalin, the Skimmer King, became legendary for escaping capture for years, moving from country to country, always one step ahead of authorities.
Stolen money flowed through shadowy networks of fake businesses and crypto wallets, disappearing as quickly as it had been withdrawn. For every victory, the criminals adapted. Others moved into new territory: online scams, phishing, smishing, or the next big vulnerability nobody's found yet. Today, the battle continues. Each new technical fix inspires a smarter workaround. Every layer of security is a challenge waiting to be cracked. But the core lesson remains. The weakest link is rarely the technology. It's people. The commuters who rush, the bank staff who miss a crook's disguise, the engineers who never thought anyone would try to fake a plastic slot. The curse of the card skimmers was more than one night's heist. Someone is always watching, waiting for the next system to let its guard down. Will we ever truly be safe? Or is the next big heist already underway?
So the next time you approach an ATM, you might pause for a split second. You'll run your finger over the card slot, glance for a hidden camera, and wonder, is it safe?
That's the reality we live in. A world where technology is both a shield and a sword, and the difference between safety and catastrophe is often measured in millimeters and milliseconds. Maybe you'll never be targeted. Every machine, every card, every person in the system is part of the game. If this story made you think twice, or taught you something new, consider subscribing and joining us as we uncover the next chapter in the hidden struggle. For now, stay alert, stay curious, and until next time, remember, the only thing standing between you and the next great heist is your own awareness.